morning, my friends. How are all of you doing today, Lionhearts? I hope you said great. I'm trying to be great, but today I want to go out and do something again. We're going to go to a place that we've been before. We actually, part of it, I'll have to show you from an old video because part of it isn't open right now, but it's kind of good that it's not open because normally there's so much music and so much going on there that it would be hard to vlog it anyway. So I'll show you a little bit of the footage that I have while we're out there talking about it, but there's so much that has happened out there that is so significant that I just thought, hey, what a perfect vlog today. What a great serene place to hang out, and I know you guys will love it. So Daze with Jordan the Lion, you all, and Jaw begins right now. If I can get this Yahoo out of bed. Will this Yahoo get out of bed? Like a little jingle bell walking. I always like these flowers. They always look like a weird bird to me. Those are my favorite flamingos in town. And what we're gonna vlog today, though it may not have seemed like it at the time, some of the events that happened there were actually very life-changing events for all entertainment. So where we're heading off to now is the eastern end of Griffith Park. Kind of over where the old zoo is. Alright, we've made it over to the entrance, and here's a statue to the man who donated the property that the park is on, Griffith Jenkins Griffith. Now, someday I'll get into his story in a vlog. I've briefly mentioned it, but wow, his is almost something like out of a movie. So of course Griffith Park is a historical monument, 4,218 acres of public park, gifted to the city in 1896 by Colonel Griffith Jenkins Griffith. Well, I guess at least in the midst of everything else, at least we don't have to worry about a fire danger today. Yeah, especially now. All right, let's head on in the park. You can see there's people out getting a little exercise, but not much else. Here you can see a sign for what we're looking for right now. So we're going to take this little trail down into what we want to vlog today, which is obviously the Griffith Park merry-go-round. Lots and lots of interesting history out here, and a whole lot of interesting film history, or at least things that pertain to entertainment. Now, the building that houses the carousel right here was actually built by the Davis family in 1926. This was their idea. They're responsible for a lot of the carousels all over California, and they built this. As you can tell, it's kind of niched into the side of a hill right here. They built this for originally housing a 1911 Herschel Spillman carousel. And the reason that they put it here was because the road that is right here, if you take it a quarter of a mile down the road, that's where the old zoo was. So they were capitalizing on the old zoo that had been opened about 10 years before. Now, they had such great luck that year with visitors coming and exploring the carousel that they decided to move a famous carousel from Mission Beach down in San Diego up to here. Now, that carousel that was originally commissioned by the Spreckles family, the famous Spreckles sugar fortune, that was the carousel that was originally down in San Diego that is now housed here. So the carousel that is in here now, I'll put some of my previous footage in here. You can see Bob Gurr riding the carousel and a lot of other stuff from that day. The carousel that's here now is the only operating Spillman complete full-size carousel left in the world. Now, this is amazing because it has a 165-piece military band organ that plays over 500 songs, and they have 68 classic horses on this carousel. Now, why I think this is really fascinating isn't only because of the carousel history, but because there's some James Dean history, some Arnold Schwarzenegger history, and some Walt Disney history out here as well. So some of the cool history about Walt Disney here is that Walt Disney moved from Missouri out to California and ended up moving into Los Feliz, which is pretty much where this park is located, in with his uncle. And he and his brother started working on animation. They ended up opening their own little shop just a few blocks away from that house. They ended up moving across the street when they got married. Both of them lived across the street from their uncle, and then they built basically mirrored houses side by side from Kit's in Los Feliz, and Walt Disney started building Disney Animation. Now, since he was a happy Los Felizian, he used to bring his two daughters to this carousel on the weekends, and he noticed how many people were coming. In fact, they said, you know, it was pretty typical to expect about 2 million visitors to this carousel and to the old zoo at the time. So Walt Disney would bring his kids here on the weekend because I'm sure it was probably like that even then. Either it was because Walt was working, or like now they only keep the carousel open on the weekends. He would bring his kids here, and one day sitting on a bench, as you can see there are benches surrounding, he had the idea for Disneyland. He had the idea for this social gathering place, this fun center for people to come and enjoy each other's company and ride rides, and just kind of a place where everyone could have a good time and be a kid. And that was all kind of founded with his idea sitting here. Now they have a bench here that I believe is behind those. I'm sure I'll show it to you. Actually, I know I have the footage. I'll show it to you here, that his two daughters dedicated to Walt, and the original bench that Walt sat on to come up with that idea is now in the Disney Family Museum up in San Francisco. Now, if that doesn't get you excited, just knowing that Walt Disney created something that has numerous theme parks all across the world, it all kind of started right here. Maybe you'll be interested in knowing that this very carousel was what James Dean got his start in television on. So yes, I kid you not, in 1950, James Dean was going to UCLA, and his friend named James Bella was being an extra on a Pepsi commercial that was being filmed here, and he brought Jimmy along to be in the commercial. And there is footage I will show you right here of that commercial, and James Dean is on that carousel. Now, the day that he filmed it, there was an agent on set. She saw his looks, she liked him, and offered to represent him. Also, the production itself liked him so much and liked his boyish good looks that they asked him to come to the studio the next day and to be featured in a second Pepsi spot that would be run simultaneously with the one that they were filming here. So James Dean actually got his very first television spot in anything, doing a Pepsi commercial right here. So I also mentioned that there's some Arnold Schwarzenegger history here, and there is. This was the very last shot of one of my all-time favorite Schwarzenegger movies, which was actually a comedy. It was co-starring Danny DeVito. It was Twins, where Arnold Schwarzenegger plays Julius and Danny DeVito plays Vincent, and they play brothers that were basically created in a lab by the government, and they were separated at birth, one getting all of the good traits and one getting all of the bad traits. Throughout this movie, they end up basically meeting and bonding, and they go on a road trip with two girls who are also sisters, and at the end of the movie they marry them, and we see Vincent and Julius with both of them end up having twins. So we see them pushing a stroller down this hill. We see a shot of them both yawning as they're pushing their double strollers down this hill. And then we see their mother, the doctor that she's now dating who helped deliver them, and their two wives down here, and you see them looking towards us saying, "I just can't believe how alike they are." And then you get that last shot of all of them in here, and they're all posing with the kids, all the babies right here, and the doctor's taking the photo. Such a great movie. Now, if you've seen the movie Teen Witch, this was also in the Teen Witch. Sitting right in front of the horses on this carousel is where she ends up learning how to cast spells in that movie. And then you can also see this carousel in the original, well, the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Paul Rubens playing a vampire bites a neck here and turns her into a vampire right here at this carousel as well. Along with being in The Mentalist, a Demi Lovato video. It was also in, I believe, House, MacGyver, Knots Landing. All kinds of different things throughout the years have been filmed here. This structure has been here for almost 100 years now. So I'll post a little bit more of the fun footage from our day here with Bob Gurr, legendary Imagineer, right here for you to watch. And we just gotta buy our tickets. Now Bob was saying he has a lifetime membership, a gold pass that lets him ride this anytime he wants, and there he is. All right, here's my beast. Seriously, look how old some of these horses are. One of the benches that was here when Walt used to come. I'll show you when we get off the ride. Yeah! So check this out. There's the actual bench from the Griffith Park merry-go-round where Walt Disney first dreamed of Disneyland. There's one of the original horses.
All right, right about here, right about there, there was a little green bench, which is down at Disneyland now. Did you all see the replica bench over here dedicated to Diane Disney? That's a very nice thing over there. But this didn't have a fence around it back in the 30s. My mother would bring my sister, myself over here, as I mentioned before. Had no idea that the two girls and the horses in front of me that I could never catch were Diane and Sharon. Because Diane, our age is about the same. I knew her for years and years and years. But supposedly the story was Walt would bring him here because he only lived over the hill here, wondering why aren't there clean amusement parks anywhere. And those first thoughts showed up in the mid-late 30s. Well, I'll build something. And those thoughts were here as he was watching them. He brought them all the time because it was such a favorite thing.
So as Bob says, all of those Disney parks there are all over the world, they all started with a dream right here. And there are the two Disney girls as kids here, and then as adults sitting on the bench inside the museum. I notice as we walk towards the old zoo that all of the playground equipment has all been taped up. Some places they're taping up all the picnic tables too, but here the picnic tables are open. It's just that some of the play equipment they're taping off. Wonder if they're talking about masks. As you can see up here, the entirety of this whole Shane's Inspiration Park is closed. Alright, I think it's time for us to head on out of here and get back inside. This is one of the trails that takes you into the old zoo that everyone always hikes around. And you can see they're even closing off the trails in some places. Not all of them out here, but definitely out here. Watch out for horse crossings. All right, Lionhearts, I hope you all enjoyed today's vlog. Whole lot of history out there at that little merry-go-round. I hope you enjoyed what I told you today. Thank you Dana Pretzer and Karen Clark for becoming my newest Patreons. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you all next time. Have a great night and goodbye.